Hey guys, this is Benny Ricciardi with rotocurve.com, and I'm here with our DraftKings NBA players to avoid for Wednesday, January 6th. Let me call up the slideshow and we can talk about some guys who I'm definitely not going to be having in my lineups tonight. These are the players who I think we should fade. And for those who don't know, fade just means these are some guys who I think are going to be kind of highly owned, who I am not going to have anywhere near my lineups tonight. I'm going to be playing other guys and not playing some of these guys. Now that NFL season's over, a couple days a week, we're going to be giving you our players to fade on some of the big slates that we have out there. And this is the first option, the first chance that we have to do that. So I just wanted to kind of let you guys understand what this is. So don't go making a lineup tonight with Gordon Hayward, Otto Porter, and Jeff Green in it and saying that Benny told me to play these guys. These are the guys that I'm telling you will probably not see on any of my lineups other than maybe a, GPP bullet here or there if I have multi-entries tonight. The first guy we're going to talk about is Gordon Hayward at 7,400. He's a 16-point underdog in this game, and it's the lowest total game of the day at only 186. He faces a Spurs team that everyone has struggled against this season. When we're looking at game logs and we see a game against the Spurs where somebody underperformed, it's usually okay to excuse that guy for that underperformance because San Antonio has been that good on the defensive end so far this year. The other reason why I really don't like Gordon Hayward today is the defensive assignment that he's going to draw. He's going to be locked up with Kawhi Leonard on defense. Kawhi Leonard is arguably one of the top 3 defensive players in the entire league. He's the guy that's tasked with stopping all the big players that San Antonio plays against. When they play Cleveland, he's the guy that guards LeBron. When they play OKC, he's the guy who guards Kevin Durant. Whoever the best player on the other team is that plays on the wing is usually the guy you find Kawhi Leonard locked up on, and he usually does a pretty good job of it. Gordon Hayward has failed to reach 4 times value in 3 of his last 7 games, and all of those have been against teams with solid wing defenders. So in a game like this where he's arguably going up against the best wing defender in the league, although Jimmy Butler might have something to say about that, I really don't think that Gordon Hayward at 7,400 is somebody who's going to be able to make value today. So he's the top of my list of guys that I'm going to be fading. The next guy I'm going to be fading is Otto Porter at 5,900. Porter's been pretty good lately, but tonight he's a 9-point underdog versus the Cleveland Cavaliers in a game that has a really low total. The Wizards have been playing games up above 200 basically all season long, and the total in this game is under 200 at 197, 199, depending on what site you look on. It's been jumping around a little bit. But either way, for the Wizards, it's a lower scoring game, and they are a 9-point underdog as well. So Vegas is not expecting a lot of points out of them, maybe 90 at most that they're going to get to. Cleveland is a very good defensive team, and Otto Porter is going to have a matchup against LeBron James. So he's going to have LeBron guarding him on defense, who is one of the most athletic players that we have in the league. So it's definitely not an easy offensive-defensive matchup for him. And he's also going to be expending a lot of energy on the other side of the floor because the Wizards are basically rolling out John Wall at the point guard, Garrett Temple at the 2, Otto Porter at the 3. Porter's the only guy who has even a chance of trying to keep LeBron James in front of him. And the problem there is that Otto Porter's defense has been some of the worst small forward defense we've seen from anybody in the league. Guys have been basically lighting him up that aren't LeBron James all season. So in this matchup against LeBron, he could wind up getting himself in foul trouble. I definitely don't see him having a big rebounding or scoring game. So at 5,900, I think Otto Porter is way too expensive to have in your lineup tonight. And he's the second guy on this list of people I'm going to be fading. The third guy I'm going to be fading is Jeff Green, who's actually been playing pretty well lately. He's in another low total game at under 200, and Green has been losing court time recently to Zach Randolph. Randolph was the starter earlier in the year for them, and what they decided to do is go with a little bit more of a 4-man on the outside, 1 big guy inside with Marc Gasol, kind of along the lines of what we see the Golden State Warriors run. Jeff Green had actually been playing a power forward position when he came in the league as basically a 6'5" shooting guard out of Georgetown University. So it's not that he was playing out of position. It's just a different style of game that they were been playing. Recently, though, it seems like they had more success last season when they were rolling the 2 big men out there with Zach Randolph and Marc Gasol. And it feels like Randolph will be back getting a bigger role lately, just like he has getting a bigger role today, just like he has been lately, where they're a better defensive team when you put Randolph and Gasol down there, as a pairing. I think Randolph will be able to guard Serge Ibaka on the outside a little bit. I know Ibaka likes to step away from the basket, but he's not really somebody who's going to have a huge quickness advantage and be able to take Randolph to the hole where it would be a matchup disadvantage. So I do think we see them use that too big set that's a better defensive set a little more, and that usually comes at the expense of Jeff Green minutes. The reason for that is Matt Barnes has been making a lot of sense for them to use at the small forward role, and he's somebody who's actually been playing a little bit better than Jeff Green has been lately. Green's scoring is down, and he doesn't do enough of the other things outside of scoring to really make value at the elevated price that he is. He was below 5K for a little while, at which point I think he's still viable, but at 5,600, he's going to be the third player that I have on my fade list for today. So tonight is a big night in the industry. We do have a lot of games that are going on this Wednesday evening. There's 11 teams in action, so there's going to be a lot of plays up there. There's going to be optimal plays that you can find. So you really don't want to take a lot of these guys that are risky. And for me, these three guys are way too risky to play in cash, and I think they're even too risky for me to roll out there in most of my GPPs. If I'm stacking a game here or there, maybe I'll include one or two of them, but there's a good chance that you won't see any of these three guys on any of my lineups tonight because I just don't think that they have the upside that I'm looking for. So thank you for joining us here at RotoCurve for our DraftKings players to avoid for Wednesday, January 6th. And as always, stay classy, DFS.